Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm gonna give you guys my full and complete review of drip jobs. As an agency owner, I get to see how a lot of different businesses run their CRMs in home service. Some of them use Jobber, some of them use High Level, some of them use drip jobs, some of them use, there's so many different variations of CRMs out there, and that gives us a really unique perspective. We can see what people like, what people don't like, and we've developed a lot of our own preferences. And today we're talking about drip jobs, a platform that I am very excited about, and we have recently developed a partnership with. There's a link below. If you want to click on that, there's a code that you can get 60 days free on this CRM. So if you want to check that out, be my guest. So I think it's important that we first just establish, if you're new, if you haven't used a CRM before, what is it and what is the importance of it? Like, why should you care? Why should you watch this video? And why should you even purchase a CRM to begin with? So Drip Jobs is a CRM that is specifically designed for home service businesses. Businesses like epoxy flooring, painting and renovation, roofing, stuff like that. It has those specific needs in mind, which is really important because if you're using a general CRM, it might not have the specific features that you and your business need. And why does this all matter? Well, there's a couple big reasons why you would need a CRM. Number one is going to be to track your leads. That's obviously very important. I don't need to tell you that. As a business owner, you already know that tracking leads is important. It's how you're going to squeeze the most out of them, get the most out of your money. The second is going to be following up with them. This is going to help you follow up with them, help you track them better, and also there's automated versions of that. 3, I kind of already talked about it, but basically it's just gonna help you get the most out of your leads. If you're spending money on Facebook, on Google, and you're not tracking your leads, you're probably missing out on business opportunities. 4, it's going to help you manage the workflow after those leads get converted into jobs. Who's going to the project? Who's the salesman that closed the deal? How do we know that this is gonna get done on time? Has the customer paid? Stuff like that. Overall, it's going to help you track your business numbers so that you can improve. You can look at your CRM and say, okay, I got 100 leads in this month. That turned into 75 estimates and 50 jobs. That's pretty good. But if you got 100 leads in and 75 estimates, but that only turned into 5 jobs, you know that there's probably an issue between getting those estimates and then closing those deals. Maybe it's time to look at your sales and sales skills a little bit better. Maybe it's time to look at your sales team and their skills a little bit more. If you don't know your numbers, you will not be able to make good informed decisions for your business. So I'm gonna hop into Drip Jobs here on my computer and show you a few of the big things that I think are important when you're making this decision. So the first big thing that I wanna talk about is the reason we're all here, the CRM itself. So this is honestly, most CRMs are relatively basic. It looks something like this, where you can track your leads, track the amount of proposals that are gone out, and just understand where your leads are coming from. For example, this is one of our clients. You can see they got Facebook ads that we're running. All of these leads are coming in from those. Right now, they have just under $200,000 in proposals that have been sent out. So like for example here, April was a Facebook lead that we gave this client, and that quote was for $9,485. Now, most CRMs are gonna look something similar like this, with cold leads, warm leads, and obviously you can adjust all of these. But what's really cool about this is it has automatically been integrated into the drips for you. Now, I'll get into a little bit more about what those are later, but basically what that means is that as soon as somebody goes into each one of these columns, they will automatically be contacted by an automated text message or email to try and warm that lead up and get them to either book that estimate or get them to close on that job. There's about 40 different automations that are already set up for you, and they're integrated with this pipeline. So, you don't have to text the person when you're on your way to a job, hey, we're on the way. All of that's already done for you. And there's a couple different pipelines here. Like this one is the jobs pipeline, which this says, hey, after the project's been accepted, has it been scheduled? What's the progress? Has it been completed? And so on. So there's basically two pipelines you got here. One's for leads that come in, and then once they become jobs, once they get closed, then they turn into this jobs pipeline, which helps you track how much your crew's doing, how much they've done, and so on. And each one of these pipelines are automatically hooked up with those integrations that I mentioned. Overall, I think that the CRM portion of this, I think it's pretty good. It's clear, it's concise, and a lot of it is already hooked up for you. That's one of the big things that I talked about, and I did a video, and I'm not sure if it's gonna come out before this one or not, but it was high level versus drip jobs. And that was one of the big things that I talked about there. Drip jobs is a lot more user friendly compared to other CRMs, and a lot of this work is already done for you. So it's kind of like the Apple versus Android. Apple, it's a lot more user friendly, everything's set up for you, and you don't have to really customize it. Whereas I'm sure there's somebody out there that tells you Android's so much better because it has this feature and that feature, but it's not as easy to use and stuff like that. So that was kind of the whole basis of one of the videos I made earlier. But in terms of the CRM, it does everything you need to do. You can customize it, and a lot of those automations are already hooked up for you. I got no complaints on my end. Double thumbs up for me. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about was those drips. These are things that are automatically created for you. You can customize them and change them up if you like, but you don't need to go through and do all this manual follow-up, sending emails, sending text messages, stuff like that, because all that's already done for you. I'm gonna give you an example of what one of those looks like. For example, an immediate email and text when a new lead comes in. Let's say, for example, somebody fills out your form on Facebook and they automatically get sent into your drip jobs pipeline. They're gonna get this text message. Hey, it's so-and-so with, in this case, True Blue Painting. We just received your project estimate request. Please click here to schedule an appointment with us. If you have any questions, please call this number. And all this is going to be automatically filled in with your information from your profile. And there's a lot of different versions of this, and they happen for both the jobs pipeline and for the sales pipeline. So basically, like this one is for the job in progress update. Hey, I just want to let you know your project starts tomorrow. If you have any questions, please feel free to text or call us back here. Thanks. Just updating the client on the process. I know that a lot of people, at least when we work with them, nobody really has these set up. I would say like 9 out of 10 clients that we first sign on and run their ads, they don't have any sort of automations set up for what happens when those leads come in. And when people are so busy, they're getting bombarded. People these days are getting bombarded with so many emails, text messages, ads, things like that. If you aren't following up with them a lot, they're probably going to forget about you. So the next stop on this drip jobs review is going to be the integrations. At the time of filming this, there are a handful. There's Angie's, Zapier, Twilio, QuickBooks, Dope Marketing, and Company Cam. Now all these serve a good purpose. Zapier is to connect you with things like Google, things like Facebook, and pretty much just like custom build out your automations. It's one of the best automation softwares out there. I use it all the time. I think you have pretty much everything that you need here. However, my only kind of caveat to this is, maybe this is just because I'm a marketing nerd and an agency owner, but I would probably like to see a little bit more integrations here. Specifically, it would be super cool if Facebook and Google were directly integrated in here so that you didn't need to buy a second software like Zap to hook all this up. Now, a software like Zap is still nice to have, but it is something to think about. That if you are, for example, running ads on Facebook, they're not gonna automatically connect to drip jobs unless you use Zapier. Now, if you're using an agency or something like that, they probably already have that taken care of for you, but it is definitely something to think about. Now, at the time of filming this video, it's October 2024. It would be something very similar to this Angie's Leads here, but just with Facebook and Google. I think that's really the only thing that I would like to see. Maybe it would be cool if they also had integrations with some website building companies So like WordPress, Wix, stuff like that, so that your website can be in there a little bit smoother. But they do have that form that you can put on your website, which does automatically send back to Drip Jobs. And there is also a way around this as well, having to use Zapier. If you send people from Facebook directly to your Drip Jobs form, that's not an issue at all because they're gonna go right into the system there. But it's just something to think about depending on how you prefer to run your ads. Next up on this list for the review is going to be the reporting features, the metrics. These are huge because they're the numbers in your business. If you don't know your numbers, you probably can't improve your business because you have no idea what the heck is going on. In this reporting, you're gonna be able to break down where all of your leads are coming from. You can see this guy right here has majority Facebook ads that a lot of his are coming from. You can see referrals, Google, however you set it up, you can see where things are coming from. This is great. You have charts, you have graphs, you have pretty much everything that you would ever need here. You know, you can break down leads to appointment, your setting rate, things like that, how many jobs you won. Those are pretty much the big numbers here. You know, how many leads you got in, how many of those you set appointments to, and then how many jobs you won, so that you can figure out, you know, hey, I closed 10% of the leads that came in, or 20%, or 55%, or whatever. Those are the big numbers, in addition to obviously average job size and sales. This is everything that you would ever really need here. I think the only thing that I would personally add to this would be those Facebook and Google numbers, just so that you can kind of see a little bit more of the top line. Like your ads showed to 100,000 people and then that resulted in 1,000 leads or something like that. I think it would be kind of cool to see those numbers. No idea if that's in the works at all or not, and it's not too big of a deal, but I just think it'd be cool. Now the next two categories that I wanted to talk about here are going to be setup and ease of use. Let's face it, when you're getting a new software, when you're starting something new like this, it can be very, very confusing, and there's probably a lot of work involved to getting set up right. You know, getting all your information in, learning how to use it and stuff like that. When it comes to setup, now I did say earlier, and I'm gonna stand by that, a lot of this is already done for you. I think that's one of the huge selling points here, is that you don't have to be a technology wizard in order to learn how to do this. And based on my experience onboarding multiple clients to Drip Jobs to help them manage the leads that we give them, their support team pretty much walks them through exactly what to do and how to do it. So if you're like a 3 out of 10 tech savvy, you can definitely figure it out. You don't need to be a wizard in order to learn how to do this and in order to use this software to its fullest potential. And that kind of boils over into my next point here as well. The software is very easy to use. I think that that is huge because you're gonna be training your employees on it. You're gonna be using it on the go, on the app and stuff like that. It needs to be easy, and it is. It's not something that's super challenging. You can click around, learn it yourself in probably about an hour. In my opinion, in terms of ease of use, it's definitely way easier. In my opinion, it's definitely way easier to use than a lot of other softwares out there, like something like High Level. In comparison, High Level, it's a lot more complicated. There are more features, but there's so much there that it can be very, very confusing. I use both of them, and High Level still confuses me all the time. The next thing I wanted to talk about here is the Drip Jobs app. It's simple, it's very easy to use, and it's great for on the road if you work off of maybe an iPad that you do quotes on or something like that. Realistically, you're probably gonna be using this software on the road most of the time as you're going to different jobs, giving quotes and stuff like that. It depends on how you run your business really. Maybe if at the end of the day you go home and actually write out your quotes and things like that, or if you give them quotes in person right there so that you can close the deal on the spot. All this to say is you're definitely gonna be using the app a lot, and I have no issues with it. Some of these CRM apps can be really complicated, and with Drip Jobs, that's not the case. I have no complaints. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about was emails. If you have all of these leads and you're not consistently reaching out to them, you're just letting them go to waste. I highly recommend that you reach out to your list of leads, your list of phone numbers, your list of emails, at least once a month. somehow, some way. It doesn't matter if that's with a text message, with an email, with a phone call. It doesn't matter. I don't care. But I highly recommend that you reach out to them in some way. Even if it's just, hey, it's the holiday season, get your job done before the family comes over, and here's 15% off as a holiday special. Whatever you want to do. I don't care. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because they have this blast feature. There's a couple different things on here you can do, but basically it's a way that you can send an email to all of your contacts that you have in Drip Jobs. You can see this guy right here has about 6,000 contacts here. So we can reach out to everyone and drum up some business. Do you think if you reached out to 6,000 people, you could at least get one estimate? Probably, considering they're people that know you, they like you, and they're in your email list for a reason. Another new feature here that I think is really cool is they have this AI email builder. And this is something that it looks, so you can write a email based on sales, marketing, follow-up to a customer, to a lead, and you can kind of fill in here how you want this email to look, what you want them to do, what you're asking them to do, and kind of the style of the email that you want to write. And this is pretty cool, especially because, if you're anything like me, I'm not great at writing emails. I'm not really great with writing my words down. I can talk okay and kind of express myself all right that way, but over email, not very good. So that's why something like this is awesome. I think my only drawback on this emails is, again, to show my nerdy side here, guys. I wish there was a little bit more data that we had. For example, more of like a campaign style email sending. Now, I don't know if this is coming out or not in the future. It does look like the AI email builder is new, and that's very cool. I think the only things I would like to see is open rate, how many people opened on your email, because if they're going to spam and things like that, that's obviously not good. And then I'd like to see how many people clicked on the link that you sent them or made it to the landing page or something like that. I think that would be very cool to see, but this is still great. The fact that you're reaching out to them is what's most important. 95% of people can get so much further in their painting and renovation business just by reaching out to people, just by actually sending the emails, doing the follow-up, doing the work, posting the pictures and stuff like that. Next up, I wanted to talk about the invoicing and job costing features. I've heard from many people feedback on this that they really like how the branding works on the invoice. You're presenting the client with a very smooth invoice, a smooth proposal. It looks good, something that they feel comfortable with. And being professional is really gonna help you get more money and charge more for your services. People feel more comfortable with you. They feel more comfortable letting you into their home. Let's face it, a lot of homeowners don't have 1,000% trust in the home service industry. Maybe they've been ripped off by a contractor, they heard a story somewhere, and trust is really important to these homeowners, especially if maybe they're leaving you in their house with them unattended or with their kids there or something like that. People get weird about that stuff, and rightfully so. So it's your job to portray authority and trust to help them get over that. And these job costing and production rate features are going to help you actually build those quotes accurately so you can hit the right numbers. I think this is great. I don't really see many other CRMs doing something like this. If you compare this to something like High Level, they do have invoicing features, however, not to this level. This is, some of the benefits that you get from using a CRM that is specifically built for the home service industry. You can generate quotes that are accurate and you can have these types of features. Now, the last thing that I wanted to touch on is their support and how it compares to others. Basically, there's a few different ways that you can get support in Drip Jobs. Option 1 is they have a 24/7 chat. Option 2 is you can schedule a refresher session, which is basically where they kind of get you back up to speed on some of the systems on a Zoom call, which is very nice. They can walk you through that. Or they have an advanced training that you can do as well. With a CRM and honestly just software in general, stuff is always changing, we're always getting updated, and you want to be able to get the most out of it. So it's very nice that all those resources are free. I've been in other similar support chats and support Zoom calls with other companies and other CRMs that honestly, like, I felt like the person on the other end of the line had no idea how to use the software. I was asking like basic questions about it. They didn't know what they were doing. They weren't pointing me in the right direction. And I had to schedule multiple times with them in order to get something done. But honestly, I've never had any issues when it comes to the support on Drip Jobs. So double thumbs up for me there as well. Overall, I think that Drip Jobs is an amazing platform. It has pretty much anything that you would ever need to run your painting or home service business. The only drawbacks that I would personally say in this review are I wish that there were a few more integrations with Facebook and Google, stuff like that. And I also wish that the email features were just a little bit better. But honestly, that's just me being a nerdy marketing agency owner who likes to stare at data all day long. I doubt it's anything that you would ever really run into, and the pros definitely outweigh the cons here. In your day-to-day operations of running a home service business, you will never run into this issue. In your day-to-day operations of running a home service business, this is not something I would really think you're ever gonna run into an issue with. It's easy to learn, it's easy to set up, it's easy to use, and it's gonna do what it's meant to do, which is help you squeeze the absolute most out of your leads. Think about it like this. Even if this CRM gets you one extra job, just one, if by tracking all of your leads, getting automated follow-up, sending out nice looking proposals, and accurately cost estimating them, if all of that can get you at least one more job, then this software, this CRM, will pay for itself for years and years, just from one extra deal. If you're bringing in leads from different areas, if you're trying to run a good business, you gotta know your numbers, you gotta know where everything is coming from here. So that's why I definitely recommend using Drip Jobs. But don't just take my word for it here. Try it out for yourself. Below, there is a link. If you click on that link and type in the code T60, T60, you can get 60 days of Drip Jobs for absolutely free. Set it up, try it out, see if you like it, and then you can make that decision. At the end of the day, what I'm really trying to advocate for here is getting a CRM and actually using it. If you track your leads, if you track your numbers, I don't even care if you do that on a pen and paper. Just do something. And you know what? After the 59 days and you decide that Drip Jobs isn't the right fit for you, you can just cancel. But I really do want you to try it out for yourself, and free is the best way to do that. So click the link below, type in that code T60 and get your 60 days of Drip Jobs for free, sponsored by Taurify. I hope this video has been of value for you today. And that's all you got from Caleb today, guys. I hope you all have a great and amazing day, and I'll catch you in the next one.